Welcome to Gainesville, Florida and the SEC on ESPN. Interesting spot tonight for the Florida Gators. At home, 49 hours away from Kentucky. Coming in here to the O'Connell Center, the Gators take on the Missouri Tigers. Good evening, Jason Benetti, Sean Farnham, Seth Greenberg along with you. In Florida this year, a team trying to get back to the NCAA tournament has really leaned on its defense.
Well, I think their defense is everything to them. The way they initiate their offense so frequently is because of their ability to turn over opponents and then have easy runouts when the floor is spaced down a little bit. And when you watch this Florida team, they like to crawl up in you. They rebound, they block shots at a pretty good rate, but really it's about the runouts. And their defensive effort has been better on the road than it has been at home. And, Coach, that's one of the things that Mike White has challenged this team tonight, their mental focus.
And to talk about a challenge, the other challenge, Sean, is this is a trap game, the ultimate trap game. Because this Saturday, Florida's playing Kentucky in a college game day game, a little bit different. The challenge will be Casey Hill, Justin Leon, you are my two seniors. This game is on you, getting your teammates ready to play.
There might be a chance for even more overconfidence because of back-to-back 30-plus point wins for Florida coming into this game. And there is the opening foul. It goes against Missouri and Russell Woods. Well, Missouri, a team that has not won since the first week of December. What makes you think they're going to hang in this game tonight?
Well, what they've got to hope is that Florida struggles from the outside, and struggle they have done in the past. Against South Carolina in particular, they really did not shoot the ball very well. They've also got to protect their paint a heck of a lot better than that. Opening possession for that kind of execution, Coach. Going over scattering ports, all those things fine. You got to make a play when you get out on the floor, and that was far too easy.
Missouri's got to shrink the court and make this Florida team a jump shooting team. Poor communication on the back screen. Look for Missouri to really try to control the tempo of the game on both ends. They were unable to do it on the defensive end.
That is an offensive foul against Kevin Puryear, the talented sophomore. And Kim Anderson, in his third season, took over in a tough spot, but they've only won 6 SEC games the last 3 years.
Well, and this year in particular, what has hurt them has been the level of consistency. There's one game where they shoot the ball well, and they're bad from the free throw line. And the next game, they don't shoot the ball well, and yet they're good from the free throw line. And that lack of consistency is why they've struggled as much as they have.
It's funny, Sean, they only have two. Their team, think about this. They don't have anyone on this basketball team that's been here more than 2 years.
Yeah.
And they play like it.
Into the post, a follow slam for Justin Leon.
Right now, these first possessions, if you're talking about mental edge and mental focus, at least early, it seems like this Florida team is dialed in.
And you think about Missouri right now, they had a terrific practice last night. Great walkthrough, 2 sets that they covered. They give up easy scoring opportunities.
Jordan Geist, the missed jumper, snapped up by Leon for Florida, and a hyped-up crowd even before the Kentucky game on Saturday. And another attack of the basket from Mike White in his second season. A team that hasn't been to the NCAA tournament, Florida, since that group that lost to Connecticut in the Final Four in 2014.
Well, when Mike White took this job from Billy Donovan, you have to remember they came off of a season that they really struggled, did not make the NCAA tournament. And then he comes in, they had a sub-500 record that year, comes in and wins 21 games in his first season. There were a lot of new coaches in the SEC last year. And with essentially the same group that Billy Donovan had that won 16 games, he won 21. He is a bright, young coach. I think this year has his thumbprint down on this team even more so than he did a year ago.
He's not a bright young coach. He's just a very good coach. Young, old, middle-aged. He connects with his basketball team. They buy into him, and he's establishing this program in his own culture, Sean.
So much success at Louisiana Tech before he came here. But this year, this team, their commitment to this end of the floor, that's the staple for him. And it's not just a staple now, but it's going to be the staple for as long as he's the coach here.
Puryear was closed off, and they do get 2 from Reed Nico.
He's built this program and his program at Louisiana Tech on the defensive end, extremely athletic, long. This team fits his personality and also fits his system.
They've held every opponent this year under its average in terms of points per game. And Missouri right now playing without Russell Woods, the senior big man, with 2 fouls. That 3 is good for Allen.
You look at the quality of look that the Gators have had at the offensive end of the floor. These are high percentage, wide open shots. Missouri's got to want to defend better and play with attention to detail at this end of the floor.
I guess they're handling this trap thing pretty good.
Yeah, I was going to say. The piece of cheese is still sitting there.
I mean, this is an elite defensive team that's active, alert, and connected, and they play like a senior team.
When you say connected, what do you mean?
When I say connected, I mean that they help each other. Their help is early. They've got good pressure on the ball. They've got good help behind. They talk, and they cover for each other.
That worked one time, and now it's worked again. So, no, you talk about connection. This is the difference. Young team that's struggling in Missouri, and a Florida team that's really finding its rhythm right now. Coach talked about connecting. You asked him what is communication and trust and belief that you're going to be where you need to do. You're going to handle your assignment. And right now, Missouri has none of that at the defensive end of the floor.
Absolutely zero communication. 2 straight back screens for layups. The screener's got to communicate, help protect the basket first. Poor communication by Missouri.
I'd run the same play again until they stop it.
Allen into the post. He's got Igbunu. The USF transfer will go to the free throw line for 2 shots.
We go back to that last possession, and it's the same action we saw in the first possession. A little handoff. Here comes the screen from Igbunu. No communication. Poor help side defensive rotation, completely out of position.
Nico's man is defending the back screen. He's got to be loose, help on that cut, and then recover out to the shooter. Right there, he's got to do a better job. A freshman's got to see that play develop, help, and then recover. He can't stay connected.
Too frequently, you see players, and they want to stay with their guy because they feel like, oh, well, you know, my responsibility, man-to-man defense, I'm going to be guarding my guy. No, you're guarding the ball. You're guarding the guy that's going to be able to score. And if you've got to pinch in and close off that gap in the paint and then recover to the shooter, percentagely, that is a better option. Cheat to the middle and then recover to your shooters on the outside.
Well, when you watch this Florida team, watch how active and alert they are off the ball. Watch them pointing and communicating. They're so connected in terms of knowing who they are. They don't get stretched out. They keep the ball in front. Really impressive.
Everything outside for Missouri this possession. They do get it in, and Nico is fouled. He'll go to the free throw line, but we come back. Florida up 10 early at home.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Sonic's $3.99 footlong with tots.
Florida leads 12-2, scoring on all 6 trips so far in the game against Missouri. And for head coach Mike White, here's a guy who was an SEC guy himself, an Ole Miss point guard. 3 years of 27 or more wins at Louisiana Tech. And boy, what he's done already at Florida has been impressive.
Well, and it's what Seth and I were both talking about. This is a guy who has come in, inherited a program. Look, I think John Igbunu doesn't hurt his thumb down the stretch. Maybe win a game that they lost. They shouldn't have. They're in the NCAA tournament a season ago. I think that he is one of the finest young coaches in college basketball. And I think with the way this team has played this year, that he's very much so in the consideration for Conference Coach of the Year. As he establishes himself in this conference, what you're going to see is this team is going to be a staple of the defensive end of the floor, but a staple of consistency in the recruiting front and finding the right players that fit his identity.
The thing that's impressive to me about Coach White, Sean, is his ability to connect with his players. You can have a great background and ability to teach, but if your players don't hear and listen, it's really hard to coach the game of basketball. He is a good listener. He's a great communicator. He connects with his guys. They believe in him, trust him, and play for him. And that's what coaching's all about.
There's so often a coach from a non-major league will get a big job because of going to the NCAA tournament. Very impressive that Mike White got this opportunity without heading to the tournament for Louisiana Tech.
Right now, Missouri's got to figure out how to get a stop. John Igbunu just posts up deep in the middle of the paint. They throw the ball down to him, and he scores. You've got to take something away, and so far Missouri's taken nothing away from the Florida Gators.
Seth, you talked about the communication defensively for Florida. They're down to 5 to shoot. Missouri And the three won't go for Phillips.
Missouri can't get anything at the rim. They're running a little triangle action. They can't get any paint touches or post touches. Hard to score when you can't do that and can't shoot the three.
Canyon Berry will go to the free throw line.
Well, and Kim Anderson told us earlier today at shoot-around, you were sitting right next to me, he goes, wait till Canyon Berry comes out on the floor. He's going to utilize a shot fake. He's going to drive on us. We're going to foul him, and he's going to go to the free throw line. It was the first possession he was in the game, and he was able to do it.
And there's the free throw for him for Canyon Berry. We'll hear a little bit more about that maybe, right?
That's a good-looking free throw right there. I'll tell you one thing.
You know, one of the things I noticed is his elbows are very relaxed.
I'll tell you what, he's very relaxed at the free throw. And watch that. He's got to be relaxed and finish up high. He's very coachable.
Are you coachable? That's the bigger question.
We know I'm not coachable.
We're going to find out in a couple minutes how coachable Seth was from the Berry family in the free throw department.
Watch how far they're getting pushed out. The Florida defense is pushing this Missouri offense out all the way to the half-court line. Very little dribble penetration.
Phillips the kick out. Three won't go. Rebound for Chiozza, who's checked in. There's a dribbling clinic from Chiozza. There's a highlight is what that is. Dribbling clinic aside. He created space. He changed speeds a couple of times, and Kim Anderson needs a timeout because things are sliding away from the Tigers right now. Saturday, ACC, SEC double dip on ESPN. Notre Dame, North Carolina, 6 Eastern. Then at 8:15, Saturday primetime, presented by AT&T. 8th-ranked Kentucky is here to take on the Gators. Both games in the ESPN app and watch ESPN. Seth has a timeshare down here.
He'll be living in it for the next 4 days. But go back to that Notre Dame-Carolina game. North Carolina allowed Pitt to shoot 56% against them on Tuesday night in the game I called, and they've got to lock down defensively, and they've missed some key components to that team. Theo Pinson in particular, Seth, is a guy that you think is really valuable for Carolina to get better at the defensive end.
Yeah, he's their energizer bunny. I mean, he's their lockdown defender. He brings energy, passion. He makes everyone else better because you don't have to run a play for him. And defensively, he can guard your small forward, he can guard your two guard. And the manner in which he plays is just, he brings energy to that team.
Seth, what are you doing with your day off here in Gainesville?
I'm going to sun the dome. Come on, it's not a day off. You know, we're working, getting prepared for game day. This place will be rocking. I'm going to wait for my crew to come in, Jay Will and the crew.
There is a stuff down low. The Gators attacking the rim again with Hayes.
Hayes coming off of a great game against Oklahoma where he had 20 points and 9 rebounds. They get some consistency out of him. It takes some of the pressure off of John Igbunu. I think Florida starts to go to a different level.
Last possession, Missouri goes zone. They get it right to the high post. Easy scoring opportunity. They got to find something that can slow this game down.
You both mentioned it during shoot-around today, the pace at which Florida practiced this morning and this afternoon, maybe IDing what they play pace-wise today.
They really pressure you at the defensive end and try to get you out of rhythm and speed up. And one of the things I liked what Coach has brought up, too, and we'll see it here in a second, after Hayes scores. But that's forecasting. I'm forecasting. Watch what Coach was talking about, though. Look where they have to initiate their offense. They're well beyond the three-point line. And even a foot or two, Coach, how disruptive is that to a team when you have to change your angles and the way that you attack?
Well, just getting pushed out one step further takes away any type of opportunity to make a post pass. Your help is earlier. I thought Mike White did something really smart, though. He gave his team off 2 days coming into this week prior to the Missouri game. More importantly, this is their last chance to kind of unplug and reboot. I thought it was a great decision, and his teams responded, playing with great energy.
Chiozza the feed. Hayes gets rocked, and he will go to the free throw line where we will learn about the learning curve at the line. Coming up shortly, Seth Greenberg from the charity stripe. Yikes.
Check out my campaign. Well, I started shooting it junior year in high school, but from a young age, I kind of learned the form and technique from my dad. And then when my hands got big enough to make the switch, it was junior year in high school, and I decided to give it a go.
Can you teach me?
Good, feet shoulder width. Yep, relax. Yeah, nice. Oh, close. Relax, relax, relax. See how tense your elbows are? Don't lock them. Yep, better. Woo, got it. There it is.
I love when a plan comes together.
Yes, sir.
Kenyon, thank you very much, man. I'm a quick learner.
Yeah, that wasn't bad, Coach.
How about that? I'm a quick learner. Went from air ball to making one. Come on now, Florida. What do you think?
There's father and son on your screen right now. Seth, you know what? The one thing I can't believe, though, why were you so tense in your elbows? Relax, Coach.
I was locked in, man.
Yeah,
Come on
too
now.
locked
I was
in.
in my coaching mode.
Yes, but you need to be in your player's mode. You need to go back to those Fairleigh Dickinson days with when you had the flock of seagulls going on up top.
Wait a second. Back in the Fairleigh Dickinson, I had the flowing hair. I had to get it out of my eyes before I shot a free throw.
So my question is, Seth, what was the time elapsed between the first attempt and the fourth attempt? There was no time on the screen there, but roughly 90 minutes to get you a make or what?
I made my first one. Unfortunately, the camera wasn't rolling.
Sure.
And then, after that, you know, I mean, I just thought I got it done. Then he said, wait a sec, we had no film in this camera.
Technical difficulties.
Come on now.
What era do you live in? I don't think there's film anymore, by the way.
You know, this technology stuff way over my head, Farty. Stop throwing me those analytics.
You're like the Bill Belichick of ESPN analysts.
I wanted to wear the hoodie, but they wouldn't let me.
Oh, man. How about the fact Florida has scored on 12 of its 14 possessions in this game?
And the defense has been stifling, forcing Missouri out. Another jumper missed.
They're back in the zone. Look for Florida to try to get the ball to the mid-post in the short corner. They really worked on this today. They tried to screen the top or just shoot a three.
That's a wide open look for Casey Hill, who was just 4 for 24 for the year from three.
And by the way, 4 for 24 is not proficient.
More
To me,
analytics from you.
Sean, question for you is, does it look like Missouri's trying to take Florida out of any rhythm or
No.
anything they're trying to do right now?
Coach, I'll be honest, it doesn't look like they're trying to do anything at defense. They're standing there. They're stagnant. Their effort is below what is acceptable.
Robinson. Egbunu, there's more effort. The rebound for Florida. And pass intercepted.
You got to have pride at the defensive end of the floor. Look, offensively you can struggle, but defense you need to have pride, and you need to have fight, and you need to have effort. And so far in this game, Missouri has shown none of that.
And, you know, as we watched practice yesterday, as we watched shoot around, their attention to detail, what the coaches covered was absolutely terrific. They were locked in. They had good communication. They came out here and, look, the X's and O's are James and Joes. I mean, in the end, you can put a player in position to make a play, but the player's got to embrace that opportunity. Like, playing is a privilege.
Right.
It's not a right. And right now, the Missouri kids, they're not as engaged and committed as they need to be. Forget about what the score is.
Right. So what do you say if you're coaching over there? Seth?
Well, I think what you say is you substitute, you challenge, you push. And, you know, you can only do that so many times. Eventually, that's got to go on the player. That player's got to have pride. He's playing a nationally televised game in almost a sold-out arena. Right? You've got to sit down and compete and play for pride. And right now, this Missouri team is not doing that.
Well, and Coach, you know, you mentioned shoot-around, and this coaching staff, I thought it was one of the best shoot-arounds I've seen from an organizational perspective and from a communication perspective that I've seen all season long. I mean, the coaches, they went over all of these sets. Especially the back screen action. Florida comes out, does exactly what the coaches said they were going to do, and the players aren't having that carryover.
No, this coaching staff was locked in on this scouting report from personnel to execution. They did a terrific job communicating it, executing it, walking through it. Then the players have to execute it when the light goes on.
Yep.
And that's on the players. You can tell a player what he needs to do and how he needs to do it, but when the light goes on, they've got to be committed to doing it.
Cullen Van Leer with the three for Missouri. That's been a big trouble spot for the Tigers this year. Third worst in Division I in three-point shooting. Robinson fading away. And a foul on the rebound action against Florida.
And Robinson going off the offensive rebound. He gets whistled for the foul. But right now in this game, I mean, already what we've seen, I mean, this is, for people that maybe haven't seen Florida a lot this year, they played a ton of games on the neutral site in the non-conference because this building was being renovated. But this is a Florida Gator team that I think is top 16 worthy, a Sweet 16, second weekend NCAA tournament team based on the fact of what you mentioned earlier, Seth, is part of it, their age. This is an older group, an experienced group. But this is a team that is committed to the defensive end of the floor, and they have shown that time and time again tonight.
Yeah, they really do. They're committed defensively. They share the ball. But more importantly, Sean, I think they all play to their strengths. You know, one of the things in coaching, you got to get your players to know who they are and how they win. This is a Florida team. They really do a nice job of playing within themselves, but competing defensively.
We will see the #1 team in the country later on tonight as Chiozza buries another one. Florida took Gonzaga down the stretch. It was a 5-point loss earlier this year.
Well, and all of their losses, with the exception of the one against Vanderbilt, has come against ranked opponents. Ranked opponents when they played and ranked opponents still right now. Look at this defense, though. Active hands. John Ekbunu on that last possession comes and helps, has his hands out wide, gets a deflection, leads to another opportunity. That time this blocked shot. They're difficult to score against.
What type of team do you think would handle Florida's defense well?
One that can knock down perimeter shots.
More effort on the offensive glass for Florida and Leon.
Well, activity and effort. You can, even in the zone, you cannot stand and watch. A lot of black jerseys watching, nobody putting a body on Leon. He's able to get the rebound, carve out that position, and earn the trip to the free throw line.
You ask about what type of team. The interesting thing about this Florida team right now is because they've done a nice job executing, the key to defensive transition is good offense. If they run good offense, and all of a sudden this game on Saturday, now they can get back and set their defense, because we know Kentucky is best when they're in transition. The big question is, do they have a lockdown defender that when things break down for Kentucky can sit down in the stance, make it hard for Monk to catch the ball and contest the shot? Because push comes to shove, when Kentucky's in trouble, the ball's going to Monk, Adebayo, or Fox off a ball screen.
And there's what Florida's done defensively against Missouri so far tonight.
You can hold your opponent to 0.3 points per possession. You're going to have a lot of success.
Walton chucked it up.
See the difference in quality of shot, though? It's if you're watching this game and you don't understand the quality of shot that these teams and the differential between the two of them, that's a big part of this.
Wide open for Berry.
Even on the shots they miss, it's uncontested, it's clean looks.
Florida, a team that made 19 threes against LSU earlier this year in a 35-point win.
Jason, watch how active this defense is, how alert they are. They're helping down on the post. They've got people coming back to rebound the ball, and then they're attacking right away. They're early offense, the first 5 or 6 seconds of the clock. They're looking to get to the rim.
Line pass from Casey Hill. Taken away. Geist. Another shot partially altered. Third chance, no for Walton, and a tie-up. We'll go to Missouri. Wow, the Florida Gators look like a legit top-line team in the top 4.
You look at some of the headlines across the NCAA. These are the ones that are standing out to me. The Gonzaga Bulldogs remain perfect. They play BYU later on tonight. Meanwhile, Kansas beat Baylor last night, a tight one. Josh Jackson, his play continues to improve. Very important for them moving forward. Mr. Double-Double, Caleb Swanigan, 24 and 16 last night for Purdue. He has been outstanding. And then a couple of teams that have lost back-to-back games, Florida State and UCLA. They bounced back. They got back into their winning ways. Still some of the better teams in the country. And then Coach K just announced before we came to air, he returns to the bench as they host Pitt Panthers on Saturday at home at Cameron Indoor Arena. And Seth, to me, you look at Duke, and the only thing that's really been consistent for this team this year has been inconsistencies as far as injuries, the Grayson Allen distraction, the back surgery for Coach K. There's still plenty of time, though, for this group to pull it all together and be as good as we all thought maybe they could be at the start of the year.
I like what they've done the last 2 games. They've shortened their bench basically to a 7-man rotation. They're basically playing 3 volume shooters. When you think about Kennard, Allen, and isolating Tatum, and then Matt Jones and Emile Jefferson have become screeners, defenders, and basically playing off those 3. And I think their chemistry's better, their shot selection's been better, and they've been much more alert defensively.
So what do you gain with Coach K back, you think?
You gain, look, Coach K is a Hall of Fame Olympic coach, national championship coach. You gain leadership, you gain trust, you gain a guy that if things do go sideways, Sean, that all of a sudden you can turn to him. He's been there.
Yep.
Plus, let's face it, the message that he's given his team, it seems like they've come together, and I think the plan he put in place has worked. Now, Jeff Capel did a terrific job. If they didn't win that Wake Forest game, if he doesn't execute that last play and Kennard doesn't make that jump shot, we might have a different conversation right now, right?
Right. No, I mean, you're exactly right, but he drew up some really nice plays down the stretch of that game. Kennard obviously had an outstanding effort.
The rim gets a block on Leon. Open looks everywhere for Florida right now. There's another one for Allen.
Well, I think, you know, we talked about Coach K coming back. We talked about Coach White and the impact that he's had here at Florida. I think it goes back to relatability, Coach, like you mentioned, but also that voice that is so familiar for players. And I think it's difficult in year 1 when you come in because some of these players, like at Florida, for example, they were used to a different cadence, a different delivery. When you would take over a program, Coach, whether it be South Florida or Virginia Tech or even Long Beach State where you're in the Hall of Fame, how difficult?
That was nice of you, by the way,
how
to drop that
difficult?
in.
I love the mention of the Hall of Fame.
very
Appreciate
nice.
that.
How difficult?
I was expecting Benetti to give me that, but I appreciate the assist, John.
No problem. I'm an unselfish player. You know that about me, Coach. But how hard was it to rebuild your program or to get your voice to cut through to a team that was acclimated already to someone else's voice and cadence?
Well, the first thing you got to do is you've got to have a clear vision for who you are and how you're going to win. What's this program going to look like? The second thing is you've got to invest in your players. You've got to connect with those players because they're your players, Sean. I mean, they're no one else's players. You've accepted the head coach position. They're your players. Then you've got to create an energy on your campus, in your community, obviously with your former players, and you've got to be consistent with your culture. And I think that's really important. You know, you can't pick and choose when you're going to buy into your culture. And you've got to be consistent with your approach with your players, with your culture, and hold them accountable. And Mike White's done that. Coach K's done it forever, and that's why Duke is where they are right now.
So my question to you is, if you're Missouri and you're really struggling, you've lost 12 in a row, how do you keep that consistency in your culture?
Well, you've got to understand that Kim Anderson right now, think about what he inherited. He inherited an academic issue, an APR issue, he inherited an NCAA issue, and he inherited a social issue on his own campus that was much bigger than basketball or athletics. So this is a 5-year rebuild, and he's just starting to develop a culture on his program. He doesn't have any player on his team that's been in the program more than 2 years. So right now it is a challenge. They've got to continue to recruit. You know what they've got to do, Sean? We talk about it all the time. Notre Dame. What is Notre Dame's program?
They're old. Yep, they're old. Mike Bray's teams are always better old than they are when they're young, and you stay old. And you're right. And one of the things Coach Bray has always said when I've talked to him about recruiting is that he'd rather have his 22-year-old go against your top 10, 18-year-old. And that experience, that strength, that understanding, that commitment to the school and program usually puts you in a really good situation. And there's a lot of teams that are like that in college basketball. Notre Dame's obviously one of the bright spots as far as teams that are really good when you're old. But, Coach, I think you're right. In the SEC right now, when we talk about this conference, we talk about it being young. There's a lot of young teams, whether it's Mississippi State, who's the youngest team in the conference. Obviously, Kentucky is young, but they're kind of different when you look at their youthfulness because of the talent that they're able to bring in on a consistent basis. But these young teams like Auburn and Missouri, they're just trying to find consistency and belief.
And you know, it takes time to do that. And you're not going to build your program in this league with one and dones.
We'll talk more about that coming up. Florida is up big here, and for now, we check in the studio and Adnan.
Thank you very much. Coming up in the Atlanta Rover halftime report, some guarded optimism as we look ahead to that Florida-UK matchup and why guard play going to be critical for both the Gators and the Wildcats. Also, the best of the West. Carol Lawson, Jeff Goodman will be focusing on Arizona and Gonzaga. Both teams in action later tonight. We're coming back right after this.
NBA Friday doubleheader, 8 Eastern. Isaiah Thomas, the Celtics host the Lakers. Then to Portland, the Mavs, the Trailblazers. Coverage starts with NBA Countdown, 7 Eastern. Streaming live on the ESPN app. And watch ESPN. Seth Greenberg has been roving all night. He's with Rick Barry, career 89% free throw shooter. Seth?
Far from chilling.
Seth is having so much fun up there. He's just laughing around, having a good time. Look at Seth. Yeah, put the earpiece on.
The big step, yeah.
Seth, put your earpiece in. This is television gold, folks. Emmy award-winning stuff here on ESPN. Seth, are you here, Seth?
Seth, yet? Go ahead. Take it away. You know, what's amazing
so
about television is if you don't have the earpiece in, you're not going to hear the cue.
Oh, my goodness.
Ladies and gentlemen, Seth Greenberg and his magical earpiece. 2 for Robinson.
Robinson, here's a young man who's really improved for the Florida Gators this year.
Here comes Chioza for Florida. Seth, told you earlier he's learning technology.
This whole TV thing's going to catch on eventually with him. I swear it will.
He's trying to learn how to shoot free throws again. Canyon taught him initially. And there's 2 from K.J. Walton for Missouri.
In all seriousness, though, I want to go back to Robinson because Robinson scored 2 possessions ago, and one of the things that has been really good for him has been his growth and maturity. And one of the things that he's matured so much on, and I asked him, I said, what's the difference between the first 2 years to where you're at now? And what he told me was, my first couple of years, I really came in trying to let myself go.
Sean, can I interrupt you for a moment?
What?
I think Seth Greenberg is ready to talk to Rick Barry.
Coach is ready?
Hi, Seth.
What's up, guys? Nice to hear your voice. Sorry, my earpiece was out. After a while, I can only listen to Benetti so long. I'm here with Rick Barry. Rick, obviously your son Canyon's playing for the Gators. How's it been to be able to come here and watch him play in this environment?
Yeah, it's really great. I'm happy for him and have a chance to experience, a big-time major program and a great program like Florida with a great school. And he, loves his teammates and he's accepted his role on this team. There's a certain role he has to play different than what he's played before. But to his credit, he's dealing with it exceptionally well. And I think doing a terrific job. He's second leading scorer on the team, playing minimum minutes.
As you watch this Florida team, you've been part of some championship-level teams. What do you think distinguishes this team, maybe as they prepare for Kentucky this coming weekend?
Well, I think it's their defense. Casey Hill is a disruptive defensive player. I mean, I'll tell you what, I would not want to be a point guard having to bring the ball up against Casey Hill. And when he plays that way and when he looks to distribute and create opportunities for his teammates, they're an outstanding basketball team. And they have some really terrific guys. I mean, D-Rob can really, fill it up at times, and certainly Kayvon could do the same thing. They got a big, strong center and a nice two-headed center. Reminds me of kind of like the Warriors with George Johnson and Clifford Ray. And, they've got John in the middle, and then they bring Tavarius in. So they have depth, too, and a lot of good players on this team with, tough decision by Mike as to who to play.
Now, Kenyon had a rough assignment this afternoon because I came in and being a former counselor at your basketball camp back at Hofstra University in your Nets playing days, I always wanted to learn how to shoot a free throw underhanded. And he gave me a little tutorial. Unfortunately, the producers and directors here, they basically showed my air ball. What do you think of that type of production?
Well, it takes a little bit longer to learn how to do it, but you had a great teacher. Kenyon picked it up really well. He's very smart, and he's doing exceptionally well. He's already figured out how many he has to make in a row to get to 90, because his goal is to get to 90%.
Now, you shot what your last 7 years?
My last 6 years, when I made a change, which Canyon's using, the technique, I shot over 92. My last 2 years, I shot over 94.
That's pretty good. Rick, thanks so much. Enjoy the game.
You have to imagine more guys are going to do that now that Canyon has brought it back into this era.
I think it's something that a lot of bigs should do that struggle, like DeAndre Jordan. Imagine if DeAndre Jordan went to that and that it improved it even by like 10%. It would make such a dramatic difference. Seth couldn't hear us earlier because evidently, you know, I mean, he's a popular guy. It's college game day. He had to take a picture with a kid. He's the man of the people.
How about that? A man of the people. I'm getting killed. I can't even get down to see you guys.
That's okay. That's why I sent you up there, Coach.
Did you see the kid's reaction, by the way? He took the picture and said, I'm out of here.
I'm good.
I'm done. That's enough.
Yeah, John Igbunu, by the way, he has been feasting underneath on this Missouri Tigers defense. He's got such great size, good shoulders. What he does so well is he buries you underneath. He carves out space that creates an angle for him to have an opportunity to score.
Hey, Sean, it'll be interesting this weekend. Igbunu against, obviously, Bam Adebayo. Two big physical bodies. The guy that gets the other one in foul trouble earlier, that will be a huge advantage because Igbunu is one of the few bigs that is physically strong enough to stand Adebayo up if they try to post him.
And that's been something of an issue this year for Igbunu, is foul trouble.
And I would expect they will make him guard, whether it's in ball screens or early post-ups. It seems like Kentucky's tried to get the ball inside early in games especially.
Speaking of that game, that is part of a college hoop doubleheader on ESPN. 6 Eastern, number 20 Notre Dame, number 12 North Carolina. Then at 8:15, as we just told you, the Gators will host Kentucky. Both games also streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. It's our Saturday primetime game presented by AT&T. Seth, other than the foul trouble you were just talking about and which big creates it, what's your key to that game?
Well, I think one of the most important things, look, when you play Kentucky, you got to get back in transition. You got to do a good job defending muck coming off those baseline bumps. But to me, I think the challenge for Kentucky is going to be, can they keep Hill out of the lane? How are they going to guard that high spread ball screen? Louisville hurt him with it. Kansas hurt him with it. Tennessee hurt him with it. They're going to have to do a better job containing him.
Yeah, and Mississippi State hurt him with it too. Lamar Peters was able to get down the middle on Kentucky frequently in that game and make it a lot tighter than it probably should have been on the road in Starkville. And I think you're exactly right. If they don't contain the dribble up top, it's going to open up everything else that Florida could want, is whether Casey Hill scores all the way or not. You look at the standings right now in the SEC. Obviously, South Carolina, Kentucky, and Florida, they've been great. Arkansas, a nice win last night over Alabama. A team not on this, though, in the top 5, that is trending in that direction that people need to be aware of that are watching SEC basketball is Rick Barnes' team. The Tennessee Volunteers have figured out who they are, and Robert Hubbs has been great, but to me, Grant Williams and Admiral Schofield, two undersized bigs that play much bigger than their stature is at 6'5", Coach. And Rick's got this team playing well. I mean, they beat Kentucky, but they're following that up with a level of consistency right now that makes them a potential team to look for in the second half of the SEC.
I totally agree with you, Sean. The win at K-State was a huge win. And more importantly, it's the way this team is playing basketball. And they know, again, they play with a toughness. They're defending with a purpose. They get the shot they want. And they've taken advantage of that undersized lineup where they have a smaller player posted and they can move the defense. So love what Rick's doing offensively. Love how hard they play, their buy-in. And one thing we know about Tennessee, they get it going. That is a terrific home court. One of the greatest home courts maybe in the SEC. Although this place right here in Gainesville, they got this place rocking. This new arena is conducive to having a terrific home court.
They didn't play here until very late in December with the renovations and just getting used to the new O-Dome, as they say. Final possession, first half for a Florida team that looks like a possible top 4 seed just with this tape tonight. Into the post, Igbunu had it pried away by Wolf. And that is that. First half goes the Gators' way, 48-20. Stay tuned. The Land Rover halftime report is next, and Kara and Jeff coming up after these messages. you back to Gainesville in the SEC on ESPN. Florida trying to win its third straight game by 30 or more points for the third time in school history and well on its way. 28-point game. Jason Benetti along with you, and we will get reports on both teams from the guys that used to be next to me, starting with Sean Farnham in Florida.
I think the big key for Florida here in the second half is discipline. Are they going to come out with the same concerted effort they showed in the first half? They held Missouri to 22% shooting from the floor. Their bench almost outscored the entire Missouri Tigers team. So for Mike White, the challenge is stay disciplined, stay with what you do best, and find success within that. Seth?
The challenge for Kim Anderson is real simple. You got to win the next 20 minutes. You're not winning this basketball game. It starts with the first 4 minutes of the second half, and you need something to build on moving forward. It's not about tonight's game. It's about the next game. And to do that, you've got to compete for the next 20 minutes, but it starts with the first 4 minutes.
Florida's bench had 18 points. Missouri 20 overall in half number one, and the play-by-play announcer's dream has just ended. The table was empty. That's how we like it, but Sean is back.
I'm sorry to disrupt your power seat over here. I hope that you are able to sacrifice some of your airtime for me here in the second half.
I will see what I can do. Robinson gives up on the three for Florida. Went 5 of 15 the Gators did in that first half, trying to get to win number 17 on the year. Into the post from Hill. The shot for Leon wouldn't go. All right, so if you're Mike White, what do you want from your team? Game in hand, what do you want from your team in the final 20 minutes here?
Core values, core principles of the program continue to be demonstrated throughout the course of the second half. Do not allow the score to dictate your effort. And I think that's as big of a challenge as almost what Kim Anderson was probably telling his team at half. Coach, you've probably been in both these situations over the course of your tenure.
Unfortunately, Sean, thank you very much.
No problem. But I mean, isn't that the challenge right now for both these teams, is this effort and sustaining your effort and staying true to your principles if you're Mike White. And then at the Missouri time, you've got to make the adjustments that you didn't come out of the gate making.
Yeah, I think if you're Coach White, right now what you're trying to do is trying to build on your success. I mean, the last 800 minutes of the season have been absolutely terrific. You've got a huge game coming up this Saturday against Kentucky. You don't want to take a step backwards. What does that mean? That means defend with a purpose. That means share the basketball. That means play the game the right way. And as I was in the hallway, as the teams were coming out, the players huddled up together. And they said, let's play the right way. Let's share the ball. Let's compete defensively. And let's do it for the next 20 minutes. It was really impressive that it was a player-coach team and not a coach team in that moment. And that's what the best team's on.
Remember what Mike White told us earlier today after shoot-around, that he said if any of his guys talk during the week about Kentucky, they're not going to play in this game against Missouri.
Well, and they've played like that tonight. I mean, they've played like a team that has not overlooked Missouri at all and instead has been razor-sharp focused on the Missouri Tigers.
And Sean, that's their culture right now. And when I say that Mike White is a terrific communicator and has earned the trust of his team, that's what it's all about. Because today's athlete, trust doesn't come with a title. All right, you've got to invest in relationships and earn trust. And when he comes into a situation following a future Hall of Famer, you've really got to work on earning that trust. And he's done that by the way he's carried himself and the way he's interacted and embraced his team.
You watched practice and shoot around yesterday and today. What were you most impressed by from Mike White as Allen knocks down the three?
I think the thing that's most impressive is his ability to communicate, not waste time, know exactly what they want to accomplish. And I think that's the most important thing right now for this team, not to waste time, to get locked in to do what they need to do each and every day.
Well, that's just great execution on that out-of-bounds play as you're taking a look at it, and that's part of the buy-in. Where do you see it? Execution on out-of-bounds underneath of play, staying committed, opening up, being unselfish, execution out of timeouts. A good job on that last possession offensively for the Florida Gators and Kayvon Allen to knock down that three.
Allen, who came in 10 for his last 24 from three-point range, has 2 threes already today, and a run out for Casey Hill, who's fouled.
Well, Casey Hill, end-to-end speed, very quick. Very few guards in college basketball can change ends like Casey Hill, and much improved this year than what he was even a season ago. And Kim Anderson talked about that earlier today, saying, you know, he sets up everybody now. His decision-making process is better. And Coach, you mentioned it. Rick Barry saw it as well. It's the same thing that Mike White told us. He is a pest at the defensive end of the floor. He really likes to initiate their defense with on-ball defense.
Yeah, he does a terrific job of pressuring the basketball up the floor. And if De'Aaron Fox doesn't play in the Kentucky game, he'll have the assignment of having Isaiah Briscoe getting up and underneath him and trying to push him out just one step further, slowing him down in transition. So the defense starts with ball pressure. The defense starts with Casey Hill's ability to disrupt. He does a terrific job with it.
Here he is tunneling into the lane and trying to create for Hayes. You mentioned that Kentucky game coming up 8:15 Saturday night as the scrum on the deck. And Missouri goes after that one. That's part of the effort we did not see in the first half from the Tigers.
A little bit of fight, and when you have a coach like Kim Anderson and you expect your team to come out in the second half and answer the call, it's not a pleasant halftime to be in when you're trailing like the way they were trailing.
Yeah, when you think about Kim Anderson as a player, Kim Anderson played as hard as any player that's probably ever played at Missouri. I mean, he was a physical, tough, hard-playing basketball player who was a guy that was first to the floor, who fought through screens, was physical and tough.
And physical and toughness is what you're looking for. Here's a little slice of it out of bounds underneath. A good, strong, physical move by Puryear. And we haven't seen a lot of that underneath. First made field goal of the game for him.
Here's a guy who was on the SEC all-freshman team last year, averages 11.5 and 6.5 this season. He's been very quiet tonight. You were talking about those speeches at halftime. Seth, have you ever had one of those speeches? You're down big and you have to decide what to say to your players?
Oh, there's no doubt about it. There are two times you got to be careful with your teams. Obviously, at halftime when you're struggling or up, but the other time, very important, after the game, like how Kim Anderson handles the post game, because he cannot lose his team. There's still basketball to be played. He's got a very young team still, so what he needs to do is figure out a way to challenge them, but not lose them, and that's really, really difficult. There's a very fine line on how you challenge athletes today.
Hayes the make for Florida, and off the tip, another interception. Leon up ahead was challenged, and Chiozza gave up the three.
That pass wasn't for Leon. That original bounce pass was for Chiozza, but improper floor spacing, Leon cut it off and ended up stealing away that pass from his own teammate.
Allen on the drive. He is fouled. Kayvon Allen in double figures already tonight.
When you think about good, alert defense, watch this Florida team. Nice switch right there. The ball's reversed. Active hands above the basketball. Once again, they stay. They pressure the basketball. Early help. Contestant, watch the weak side help. Active hands. They help. Boom. They're off and running. This is an active and alert defensive team. Good hand pressure, good ball pressure, off the basketball. They see plays before they happen, and that's what makes this Florida team go.
Yeah, they swarm, and they swarm back for rebounds as well, Coach. And we've seen that every time a shot goes up, it seems like there's 4 white jerseys attacking the glass to follow and track the rebound.
You know, the big challenge for Florida is going to be this Saturday. They cannot turn the basketball over, because basically turnovers are touchdowns for Kentucky. So Casey Hill, when they're getting after him defensively or when he's coming off those screens, he's got to make good decisions so that Kentucky doesn't get out, so they can set their defense.
Where are the plus matchups for Florida in that game, you think?
I think their ability to rebound the basketball, and Kentucky's a good rebounding team, but they're not a great rebounding team. And I think the other opportunity is defensively. Florida has shown tonight, and that is, look, very different opponent on Saturday. But if you can force Kentucky to play out over the top, and you can take away and close off driving lanes and get
Leon
back in transition, that would be a huge thing for the Florida Gators.
Here's a look at the injury.
And Leon.
They cannot afford to lose Leon, a pick and pop 4 that makes plays.
He got an elbow in the back, it looked like. Inadvertent elbow, but on that rebound, I think that's at least first glance to me, that's what it looked like.
You know, you talk about matchups in this game. I think, look, the Monk matchup, are you going to get the good Monk or the bad Monk? And I think John Calipari's got to give him his freedom. He's got to be a volume shooter, and you got to live with the bad shots because he's like an NBA player. He takes bad shots and makes them. Some guys take good shots and miss them. So, you know, that's going to be an advantage. Even though Allen can get it going, that's an advantage for Kentucky. At the point guard, it really comes down to the situation with Fox.
More on that coming up. That's 8:15 on Saturday. Florida, a nice prelude here.
Every analyst dream. Go ahead and step aside, Benetti. It's time now for the Power Performance, brought to you by Polar Power. And for Florida, their power was asserted early in execution, Coach. It was the execution that led to so many of these good looks.
They share the basketball. They play the right way. They're looking to attack. And right here, it shows him. Watch it. Levels his dribble off. He reads the defense and takes advantage. And that's good basketball. Watch this little inside screen. Allen comes off the screen. That's terrific. ATO out of timeout. Special situations. That's what good teams do. That's what Florida's all about right now.
I hate to interrupt the Mutual Admiration Society. Can I start to talk again?
Would you like to join the broadcast, Sean?
Can you give me just another 5
Is
seconds?
McDonough going to join the broadcast today? That's
I
what
don't know. It depends on how nice you are to me. Seth Greenberg, Sean Farnham, Jason Benetti. Here at the O-Dome, Florida is 10 out of 19 in the paint. Missouri just hit its 10th field goal for the game, guys.
And there's games that are like this, and I've been on both ends of these. I went up to, when I was at UCLA my freshman year, we got massacred at Maples Pavilion. I mean, we lost by 48 points, and the great thing about that, it was a Thursday night, and you played again on Saturday. And the great thing about it is we played a very good Cal team right afterwards, and we beat them by 26. You have to be able to bounce back from it. You have to be able to flush it and move forward, and not look in your rearview mirror and try to overcomplicate things. And I think that's the big challenge for Missouri.
Next play, next game. I mean, you got to have a short memory. It's kind of like my golf game when I start shanking the ball.
I was going to say
you can't think about the last one. You got to get to the next play. But this is a Missouri team right now, Sean. You're right on the money when you say that. I mean, you can't get this one back. You've got to move forward. But as a coach, getting your team to move forward is the challenge. And I don't want to talk about the times I'm going to
Oh, my, Robinson. Oh, let's have some fun. 31-point lead, but it's with a little bit of flair. A little bit of excitement.
Am I going to get the Sports Center top 10 out of you or what?
Well, we have to wait for the replay.
Oh, is that what you wait for?
We got to wait for the replay.
Is that how this works?
Yes, it's TV. We're struggling a little bit tonight. Earpiece in. Your earpiece.
I thought we had a talk show going on here.
Welcome, everybody. It's Dr. Seth.
This is what happens when you don't let the play-by-play announcer talk.
Welcome to the male version of The View.
Here's Barry for two.
Oh, well, you guys laugh. I'll get back into it. Sports Center top 10. Let's rack it up. When you share the ball, you run the floor with purpose. That's what the Gators do. It's all predicated upon their defense. We nominate it. We show it. We enjoy it. Gators rolling.
Back-to-back 30-plus point wins for Florida coming in, and the Gators looked the part for Missouri. This being Groundhog Day, it's happening again. The Tigers have not won since December the 6th.
Nice reference to Groundhog Day, by the way.
You know, look.
340 yards. I think he's got a 6-iron.
You've been going through the Bill Murray catalog, evidently, during the break, huh? Out of bounds.
Killing Seth tonight.
So I says, Lama.
It's a new hashtag we're going to bring out.
They don't let me out of the studio.
You know,
often.
Groundhog Day is the one with the groundhog.
Yeah. Caddyshack? Are you kidding me?
Wait a second. Come on.
I'm surprised he didn't bring out Ghostbusters. Scrooge.
I'll tell you one thing. This is a rough crowd right here.
Another rebound.
We'll be back
for
on
Kunin.
Sunday night.
Yeah. You're going to be here on Saturday night.
Game day will be here.
Look out.
The
awareness and the vision to see that developing, both from Robinson and the pass, though, that was just spectacular.
Two stellar dunks from Robinson tonight. Another knockaway and another turnover out of bounds.
And again, Seth, for me, you watch this play, it's the recognition from Chiozza. Look at the hand goes up. Chiozza was there. He saw it right away and delivered the pass on time.
Chiozza saw that play as he crossed half court. Nice job Robinson getting behind the defense. But this is two guys, upperclassmen, that have played together, that have a feel for each other. And that's what this Florida basketball team is. Forget it. They're not relying on freshmen. These are redshirt juniors, seniors that are connected on both ends. And that's why Saturday, they're going to be in a position where they're not going to be intimidated by this Kentucky basketball team.
Where does Kentucky go in that game? Where's the bread and butter against Florida for the Wildcats?
I think that early on in the game, I think they've got to go inside. They've got to make Ubuntu defend. I think it's really important. They're doing a good job with that. The second thing, they've got to find a way. Malik Monk is so good, but he's got to work harder without the basketball. One thing is being able to create off the bounce. But as they set those screens, he's got to set screens up, come off screens, and he is an advantage because of his size against Allen. He's bigger and he's a little bit longer.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, and I've had Kentucky almost every single Tuesday so far in the SEC, and a lot of the time it's been on the road. Kentucky is a different team on the road than it is at home, and I think a lot of that plays back into the youthfulness. And this is still a very young team, a very talented team. But when you talk about experience for Kentucky, Coach, we're talking about Isaiah Briscoe being a sophomore.
Derek Willis.
You know, and Derek Willis and Dominique Hawkins that are role players coming off the bench. Malik Monk hasn't been the same player on the road as he has been at home.
The biggest challenge for Kentucky is to maintaining an intensity on the defensive end. And I think this Florida team will try to make them defend in the half court. And then offensively, right, at times they get stuck. Whatever they do offensively, they've got to do it with a greater purpose, run it harder, and make sure they dictate the shot. Don't let the defense dictate the shot you take.
Well, we do know one thing. The student section will be full for that game. We were told earlier the student tickets sold out in 6 seconds for the Kentucky game earlier this year.
And that's going to be a great environment on Saturday. Game day in the house. That means Seth, Jay, Reese, and Jay will all be here. And then, of course, Dan Shulman and Jay Billis on the call of the game. In a big game for the SEC. You look Kentucky now with its one loss. South Carolina, if Kentucky was to lose to Florida this weekend, South Carolina would enter next week potentially as the top team in the SEC.
You talk about a team that can play defense.
Oh, #1 in the conference in field goal percentage defense, 3-point field goal percentage, points per game. They have been so good all season long at that in the floor. And Sindarius Thornwell is a player that I think nationally hasn't gotten enough attention. And Seth, I know you've seen him a lot. Obviously, I see him a lot here covering the SEC. But he's one of the better two-way players that the conference has. And when you look at his numbers and his level of importance for Frank Martin, it's through the roof.
Yeah, this is a very experienced, mature South Carolina team. And I know it sounds like a broken record, but when you have upperclassmen, when you have guys that are invested in the program, that understand the system and how they need to play and how hard they need to play, right, there's a difference. And this South Carolina team has embraced Frank Martin's system. And Thornwell is a guy that's grown with the program. If you think about his freshman year compared to where they are right now, 2 different teams, 2 different players.
Well, and last year's miss of the NCAA tournament, that's been a driving force for this team to finish it off this year and leave no doubt. And so far, they haven't left very much doubt as far as being a legitimate NCAA tournament team for Frank Martin.
I'm impressed with the development of P.J. Dozier. I mean, you're talking about they have 3 perimeter players, and notice Dozier and Thornwell, that all defend, that all can put the ball on the floor, that all can make plays. And yeah, they've got a toughness, and Frank has done a great job of creating that culture within his program.
Well, and Dozier's improvement, I talked to him about a couple weeks ago, and he said, listen, he goes, last year I thought I was good enough to come right in and play. Then I found out I wasn't spending enough time in the gym. And he goes, and in the offseason, I made the commitment to get better. You know, we talk about all these things so often about coaches making players better. The players themselves have to understand what it takes to get better and put in their own effort as well.
Casey Hill out of bounds. This will be Missouri ball. Florida's got a big lead from Mike White, the head coach. Seth Greenberg will chat with him coming out of this timeout.
Welcome back to the O-Dome. I'm here with Coach Mike White. Coach, what are you going to try to accomplish the last 11 minutes of this game?
But, Coach, I'd like to see us get back to guarding with the edge that we guarded with in the first half. We've really struggled to guard at home as compared to the way we've defended on the road. Really defended well in the first half. They're shooting 45% here in this second half, so we've got to get back to getting that focus and edge back.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Coach.
Up to the minute numbers from Mike White, 46%, 5 of 11. Second half. I mean, that's what you're going to have when you got a big lead, right?
Well,
You don't have to.
you don't have to, but yeah, I mean, a lot of times you see that. And look, you look at the other numbers, they're plus 16 in the paint, plus 22 on the glass. You know, they're plus 9 on the offensive rebounds, plus 12 on second chance points. So there's a lot of pluses, and the more pluses you have, obviously, the better you're playing. This has been an impressive game. This entire game has been a huge plus, I think, for Florida. From a maturity factor and understanding what they needed to do tonight. They set the tone immediately, and they didn't let off the entire first half. And in the second half, yeah, they might be playing a little bit more even, but that's because that level of intensity, as Mike White just talked about, has dropped a little bit.
Yeah, as a coach, you don't want any slippage, though. You want to build on what you did in the first half. Obviously, there's a human nature to it, Sean, but you don't want to see slippage. You don't want to develop bad habits. You want to make sure you're playing the right way, and that's the challenge going into a game like they have Saturday.
Who was the best guy you ever saw, Seth, at playing in a game like this and keeping that level of focus? Anybody come to mind?
Wow, that's a tough question.
We asked the tough ones.
You know what? I think that, I thought we were going to have a nice, easy conversation right now. To me, it's really each and every game has its own identity, its own personality, and to me, it's really just about doing the right thing, play the right way. You practice so hard, you practice so many days, play the right way when the lights are on.
You know who comes to mind for me? Tyler Hansborough.
Yeah,
very good one.
Tyler Hansborough played hard every single possession,
and then went to the foul line.
Yeah, and that's what made his entire career.
Seth, you didn't by chance have any experiences with Tyler Hansborough, did you?
Just a couple. One thing about Tyler now, he could hit you and he'd still go to the line.
Yeah.
Let's tell you about a doubleheader on Saturday, shall we? We'll divert Seth's attention to bad memories. 6 Eastern. You're welcome. 6 Eastern, number 20 Notre Dame, and number 12 North Carolina. Then at 8:15, number 8 Kentucky's in town. Here to the O-Dome at 8:15. It's our Saturday primetime game presented by AT&T on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. You got a big sock game planned, don't you, for game day? You brought some special socks, didn't you, for the guys?
I always wear my special socks. You can't see them right now.
We got to see them later.
They'll be the Seth Greenberg socks.
Coach is very humble.
Socks, my feet.
Coach is very humble. He wears pictures of himself on his own socks.
Yeah, his humility is his best
I'm actually going to wear Billis' socks so I can walk all over them this weekend.
Will they go 94 feet?
The basic thing about Billis, Billis does his own interview at 94 feet because no one wants to talk to him.
Didn't you enjoy that a couple Mondays ago?
Oh, it was exhilarating. I like the distinguished Billis with the glasses.
Yeah, Billis has his own segment now, and Allison Williams has her own segment, but we haven't seen Sean
wait a second. Who?
Sean McDonough deserves his own segment.
It's amazing Sean can do so many different things and be so many different places.
See, you guys keep saying Sean, and I keep thinking you're talking to me.
No, you're cut out of this one.
Okay, good.
Yeah, give it a while.
All right.
We just saw that screen up with BYU and Gonzaga.
Yep.
And Sean, I know you, Sean Farnham, that is. You have a great appreciation for the West Coast Conference. And when I think of BYU, I think of fast, I think of with freedom, and I think of furious. This team plays at the 4th fastest pace in college basketball. Eric Meek is as good a low post player as there is in the country, and this team will attack. How crazy an environment is that?
It's crazy, and you look at the Zags and what makes the Zags #1 in the country. They're elite at both ends of the floor. They have the best scoring margin in the country, a major influx of talent. 3 transfers from major conferences led by Nigel Williams-Goss. And then you want some fries with that? Of course you do. 2 former McDonald's All-Americans. Then you talk about guard play. And I was watching you and Jay Will the other night talking about this, and Jay Will was saying, well, who do you get the ball into the hands of what player late in the game? To me, it's a no doubt. You put it in a guy in Nigel Williams-Goss who has played in big moments before over the course of his career and has established himself actually the leader of this team a season ago.
And he plays with a little bit of a chip. I mean, to me, he feels like he has something to prove, Nigel Williams-Goss. When you show those 3 transfers on the screen, Sean, most important thing is they fit. You've got an athletic forward who at one time was playing at Missouri, and Johnny Williams. You've got a big-time jump shooter in Jordan Matthews, and then you've got Nigel Williams-Goss. So it's not just having transfers and players coming into your program, but the right guys. And then you've got Zach Collins up front, who's extremely athletic. And then I used to call Shemek Karnowski a mountain masquerading as a man, but I think mountains masquerade as Shemek Karnowski.
I think you're right. By the way, Barry with that and one. Chiozza before that got to 10 points. He's nearing a triple-double tonight. Chris Chiozza, 10 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists in this game for the Gators.
And the last triple-double for Florida was Nick Calathis back in January of 2009 against Georgia.
Robinson missed the 3.
That's research right there. I mean, that's impressive.
He had his encyclopedia open during the break. It was amazing. It's titled Rothenberg. I don't know quite how it got that title, but it works well. He wrote the book on it. Kick ball to Missouri. Well, we've seen the effort a little bit more in the second half from Mizzou, don't you think?
I think they're playing harder, and you know, again, I think right now for Kim Anderson, he's taking an inventory on each and every guy that's in the game. As a coach, you're evaluating, all right, who's continuing to play hard, who's quitting on plays, who's being selfish, who's making the extra pass, so that tomorrow in practice, you can kind of have a handle on how you want to move forward with your team, preparing for the weekend.
Big game coming up for the Gators Saturday at 8:15. Kentucky's in town before 3 of the next 4 after that are on the road for Florida.
Well, and just a great week of basketball coming up. You've got a great rivalry on Saturday. Then on Thursday of next week, you've got Carolina and Duke at Duke. And then you've got St. Mary's Gonzaga a following week from now. It is going to be a lot of great rivalry basketball across this college basketball landscape.
And you didn't even mention Arizona,
Michigan,
Oregon.
and Michigan State.
Yeah, Arizona, Oregon this Saturday. You talk about a big-time game. I think right now, today, Arizona is the best team in college basketball.
You think so?
I think that if you look at the addition of Alonzo Trier, another scorer, if you look at the depth of their front court, the development of Kobe Simmons, the development of Raleigh Hawkins, you've got a complete team that defends, that's unselfish, but yet explosive.
All of that, and the best pro prospect on the roster, Lauri Markkanen.
Ridiculous.
I mean, he is 7 feet tall, that can shoot the 3. He has some Dirk tendencies to his game, and meaning that he can handle the ball, reject on ball screens, come off the one-legged floater up over the top. Sean Miller, National Coach of the Year right now.
Arizona 9-0 for the first time since 1998 in the conference. Casey Hill all the way.
Casey Hill with the finish. The Gators are on a roll. Let's chop.
I'm Adnan Burke back in our college basketball studios, updating you on Michigan State and Nebraska. This game's over on ESPN, and that is Alvin Ellis III. 3 of 3 from downtown. He's got 11 points as the Spartans right now comfortably in front, up by 14. Coming up, we continue great college basketball action as Lauri Markkanen in action. He scored in double digits in 21 of 22 for Arizona this season. We'll see how they'll shape up against Oregon State. That game is coming up next. Back to JB and company.
You know, we were talking about it. Arizona 9-0 in the league. First time since Mike Bibby and Josh Pastner were sophomores. They're coming up. Here are your SEC headlines.
Yeah, Malik Monk, a huge second half, 31, I think. And then you look at Robert Hubbs, SEC Player of the Week. Dusty Hannahs last night in limited minutes still had a lot of success in South Carolina. Best start in SEC play since 1997.
You know, the interesting thing, that Arkansas team, to me, they've got a chance to be very good. Hannahs can make shots. I think if they establish Kingsley a little bit more, to me, Tennessee and Arkansas are 2 teams we're not talking about, but could end up in the NCAA tournament.
Yep. Now look, the SEC, and I think, look, the Big 12 Challenge, they went 5-5 this year, their best showing. And yes, it is about matchups, but they got 5-5 without Kentucky winning. And that's a good thing for this conference.
That's really good. Think about Auburn, who is struggling in league play. They have a win against Texas Tech. They got a good win against Oklahoma, and they got a win against TCU.
Yep.
So, I mean, and Bruce Pearl's got another young basketball team that's going to kind of go through what South Carolina went through under Frank Martin. You've got to get those guys to understand how hard they got to play all the time.
Chiosa going to work again, building on a double-double.
You take a look at year by year, by far the best showing for the conference. They needed it, and they got it. And, you know, you look at a couple of those other games, too. I mean, a good showing by Ole Miss against Baylor. Texas A&M showed well at West Virginia. And, of course, Kentucky, Kansas, that was a game right down to the stretch.
And it's a shame A&M, if they had a point guard right now with their front court where Robert Williams is playing, that would be a very complete team. I'll tell you one team, the Rodney Dangerfield of college basketball right now, Maryland. They're 20-2. 20-2. You talk about team chemistry and trust.
Real quick, before we get to that, will you take us through the motion here? You learned how to shoot these free throws.
First you got to be relaxed. You got to be relaxed, and then you got to finish your hands high. But if you're a little bit too tight, notice the thumbs on the top of the ball. These are the things I expect you guys to be working on this. So the next time that I'm with you guys, I expect improvement.
I think you, Jay Will, and Jay Billis on game day should shoot free throws underhand and have a little bit of a competition.
First of all, Jay Will couldn't shoot him overhanded, so we would hope that he could shoot him underhanded. And he'd be the first one to tell you. But Jay Will did make the half-court shot the other day. And as my segue, getting back to half-court shots, because Mark Turgeon has been known to make a half-court shot.
Tremendous
I would
job.
say, thank you very much, Sean, that this is a Maryland team that's really complete. 3 freshmen starting. We don't even talk about that a lot.
Right.
End of the game, the ball's in Melo Trimble's hands. They defend, they share the ball. And Justin Jackson is a really good player, the freshman, not the one that plays at North Carolina.
Correct. But, you know,
Barry fills in again.
we saw them actually against Michigan, Jason and I left there very impressed and very much so sold that that's a team that's going to be fighting in the Big Ten through the remainder of the season and have themselves in a position to win the conference.
You think there's enough depth there?
I do think they have enough depth, and I'll tell you the great thing.
Dodd has been a big improvement since he's come back healthy.
And Gill gives him some minutes, but here's the thing, Jason, I think is really important. Having a guy you can give the ball to at the end of the shot clock, at the end of the game, is so important. Like if you think about Indiana last year, Yogi won a lot of games for them. Right now, this Maryland team, shot clock, end of game, the ball's in Melo's hands, he makes everyone else better. You need that because you're going to play close games down the stretch in the tournament.
That was a 2 for Borjak Gak, his first bucket, and a 40-point lead for the Gators. If this holds, they'll have won 3 straight games by 30 or more against power conference teams for the first time in school history.
You love their maturity, though. You think about the success they had the last 2 games, have a trap game, the way they came out and prepared for...
Barry knocks it down again.
He hit that one from the broadcast table.
He shot that one from Tampa.
And you know what that was? It was an assist for Chiosa. And Chiosa, I think, is out there trying to get his assists right now. He's got 8. He needs 2 more for the triple-double.
His triple-doubles right now. Has Russell Westbrook created an epidemic?
I don't know, but I do know this. Kenyon Barry has some range on his shot.
But some guys can really, I mean, you gotta be relaxed, loose, relax, finish high.
You got rhythm.
This is a cold group right here. Bad coaching.
I'm Adnan Burke back in our college basketball studios. Just a reminder on ESPN2, it's Alonzo Trier in Arizona taking on Oregon State. Wildcats' highest AP poll ranking since the final poll of the 2014-15 season, November 4th. Action is coming up. Maybe back to you guys.
We've got a possible triple-double here. 12 points, 11 rebounds, 8 assists for Chris Chiosa, who they refer to lovingly as Cheese here in Gainesville. And that is why you see that fearful mug in the crowd.
Hot dogs, cheeseheads, Gators. I mean, where's like Gumby? I'm a little disappointed, Gumby. I would be disappointed if this weekend Gumby wasn't in the crowd.
You're calling for Gumby in the crowd.
I mean, every big game there's a Gumby. Don't you think the Rowdy Reptiles in a Gumby? I mean,
I don't know.
When you think about big games, I mean, Gumby's, you know, it's a costume you most times see.
No, I mean, I agree.
Gumby
you see it often. You do see it often.
UCLA, does Gumby play UCLA in Pauley?
Gumby's not in Pauley.
Then maybe they don't need it here.
It's not in Pauley. But that's a West Coast thing.
But he's in San Diego State.
Yeah, there you go.
What about Albert and Alberta, the Gators?
It's close.
They're green.
Albert and Alberta would eat Gumby.
Well, maybe that's why Gumby's not there. Maybe Gumby had a rough night in the first half.
You know what Dave Pash would say right now? And now back to the game.
I don't know if Dave would even say that right now.
Tonight I have a little more empathy for Dave Pash.
Thank you very much.
Rebound for Nico, and Missouri had it blocked. Bunch of blocks tonight for the Gators down low. Chiozza wants the assist, and he
He's
didn't get
tried
it.
so hard. He's had a couple that could have gone down, but he's trying extremely hard to get this assist total. He knows.
Triple-double on the horizon for Chiozza. Barry took it from Nico.
Do you guys think, we're so focused on triple-doubles now because of Russell Westbrook?
It's so rare in the college game.
Yeah, but I think we're actually seeing it more frequently. Just like in the NBA, we see it more frequently, and we talk about it every night. Scoring is up, college game. It's the trickle-down. We're starting to see that happen more at the collegiate game. Look at Kentucky. 2 kids, Briscoe and Fox, both having a triple-double this season.
Now, I interviewed Oscar Robertson last week for the Xavier-Cincinnati game.
Yep.
He averaged a triple-double.
Yeah. Dennis Smith Jr., how fun is he?
He's really from that loss yesterday for NC State, giving up a 16-point lead. That is a hard loss at home.
Especially the dawning of February. Down the lane, Geist couldn't finish, and Florida trying to put away win number 7 in the SEC. That's the helper from Chiozza, number 9.
One assist.
Hester knocks it down.
He needs one more assist for the triple-double, and I'll take the cheese head off the guy behind me, and I'll put it on.
You're going to do that?
Sure,
It'll
why
be
not?
a good look, too. Some people say an improvement.
Well, hey, the hair on my head would argue with yours.
My hair's completely back on defense.
Good defensive transition.
You're saying it slapped the floor years ago? Under 2 minutes to go here, and tonight at 10:30 Eastern on ESPN, we bring you the Chris Berman Special.
Gonna be a good one.
It's a look back at Boomer's incredible career at ESPN and the impact he had on sports, the fan, pop culture, and nicknames. You can see it streaming live on the ESPN app and watch ESPN. All of us that grew up in that era, just looking forward to
Jason
prime
Big
time.
King Benetti.
That's all you got? That's the best he can give for you.
Hey,
He's the one that called you the Hall of Famer. He gets a good nickname, right?
Yeah.
I'm just Joe Bag of Donuts. I can't help.
Is this it? No.
No, just short for Robinson.
Got to get in transition. Got to get in transition when we get someone filling the lane.
You okay with him looking for it?
Yes,
Yeah,
100%.
sure. Without
Why
a doubt.
not? Ricky Davis did that back in the day, and he got...
I'm okay with it.
He had his own rebound, though. He put the ball
Right.
on the glass. Remember
This,
that?
he actually has to have a teammate make a shot. Okay? What he needs right now is to give the ball to a teammate and let him.
I think he
Make a
gets
shot.
some type of high ball screen where he tries to get in the lane, even against the zone. Screen the high guy in the zone, let him get in the lane. There you go.
He's looking. Hester gave it up.
Hester needs to shoot the ball, though.
Back door. Batted away. Missouri's on it. Couple more possessions left for Chiozza.
I think it might only be one possession left for him. The good thing is I'm not going to have to wear that cheese head for long, even if he does get it.
You never know how long we're going to stay on air. Might have some fill time. That 3 goes down for Geist. And a timeout to substitute.
Well, you think about college basketball, Coach, you were talking about it. Triple-doubles, 19 this year in the college basketball season. Triple-doubles across the country.
That's another nugget. You're a wealth of information. I thought that was Benetti's job.
Oh, it is.
Let's see if we can get him a high ball screen where he can get in the lane and get someone a layup or an open shot. Or just kick it ahead and bang it through.
There it is. Robinson knocks it down. Here's the cheesehead. It's a good look for you, Farnham.
I said I would have it on if he got it. Things are getting a little cheesy here in Florida in this late game situation.
I am impressed with how quickly it got down to here.
Hey, put it on Seth to see. What do you think about Seth?
Well, his head's less of a solar panel now.
We love solar panels. Yeah, renewable energy is important.
One final shot for the Tigers, and Florida puts away win number 7 in the SEC in big fashion against Mizzou tonight.
But you know what? Tonight was about focus and energy. And what you saw from Florida was a team that was bought in, understanding of the moment. This was a mature team that played like it tonight.
Pleasure, guys.
Yes,
always
it was.
great to work with you. 93-54, the final score. Number 5, Arizona at Oregon State is next. For Sean Farnham, Seth Greenberg, our entire crew, I'm Jason Benetti. We thank you for watching. Good night from Gainesville. Before we go out to Corvallis, we send it to the studio. Guys?
All right, guys, thank you very much. Farnham with that cheese. I hope he brings that in the studio on Saturday. Coming up next, Flory Marketing in Arizona. They'll be facing Oregon State. Arizona 9-0 in conference play. First time since 97-98 when they started 16-0. Just about 13 and a half minutes away from more college basketball here on ESPN2. In fact, that'll be the second game of a triple header. Over on ESPN, Michigan State's on the road at Nebraska. Miles Bridges here for 3.
Any road win is a good win if you're Sparty. Remember, this is still an incredibly young team. Miles Bridges has played very, very well. And Alvin Ellis was great off the bench for Tom Izzo tonight.
Cassius Winston there to Alvin Ellis, and then Ellis again for 3. So Spartans up 70-54, 3.5 left in that one. Alongside Jeff Goodman, Kara Lawson, I'm Adnan Burke. It's good to have you with us. So, Kara, clearly Missouri not up to the Florida competition. But what are we seeing here from the Gators, of course, looking ahead, the big matchup against Kentucky on Saturday?
I think the biggest thing is that they weren't looking ahead in this game, that they took care of business. And this is a team that has a lot of depth. They get after you defensively. They pressure. Their defense was very, very good, particularly in the first half tonight. And they're going to have to be able to score with Kentucky on Saturday because Kentucky is a team that's so explosive. And so to me, tonight, for them to get feeling good about both ends of the floor, particularly on the offensive end, that bodes well for Saturday's showdown.
Yeah, the big question is, will De'Aaron Fox be playing? You know, he was out with the illness. We don't know how bad it was. We expect he'll be back for that game. But it's a completely different Kentucky team with or without him. Isaiah Briscoe, a completely different point guard, not a guy who can really push it in transition, not a guy who gets easy buckets for his teammates, really not a point guard. And De'Aaron Fox is one of the elite point guards in the country.
There's no doubt that De'Aaron Fox changes the paradigm for Kentucky on the offensive end, the defensive end as well, but the pace and the tempo, you cannot recreate that. His speed is different. So that is something that definitely, if they have him in the lineup, that changes the game.
And also for Florida, we certainly saw the importance of Kayvon Allen, why he's a key player as well.
He's a very key player, and I mentioned how Florida's going to have to be able to match Kentucky from a scoring perspective. I think the Florida player best equipped to have a scoring explosion on Saturday is Kayvon Allen because of his ability to knock down three-point shots with efficiency. He's got great athleticism, attacking, taking it to the rim. So to me, if they want to pull the upset, he is the guy that has to have the game on Saturday.
I think Florida can have an advantage, though, inside. I mean, you look at Devin Robinson and Egbunu. Right now, Kentucky's front line's still a work in progress. Bam Adebayo played well at the end of the Georgia game, but he's still a work in progress. Derek Willis, do you play him? He's a defensive liability. If he makes shots, he's great. Florida's got some veterans in the front line. They need to take advantage of that.
Kentucky, Florida, Saturday, 8:15 Eastern on ESPN. College Game Day will be there. Of course, that means our man Seth Greenberg is going to be there. Seth working it with this Missouri game. Let's go back to him and Mike White. Seth.
Coach, what can you take away from this basketball game that's going to help you this Saturday?
Now, Coach, we should know that we have an ability to defend at home at a much higher level, similar to the way that we've defended on the road. You know, I'm proud of our effort. We've matured a little bit as a group. Even in the second half, we shared the ball. We weren't hunting. Showed some signs of some leadership and some maturity, and you hope that carries over into the next one.
When you think about Kentucky, the first thing that comes to your mind is what?
Talent, how hard they play, how prepared they always are. They're just very, very good. I think they have arguably the best backcourt in the country as well. You know, we got our hands full. You know, a huge test. Everyone's geeked up, obviously, to play them. I know our guys will be very excited about the opportunity to compete against one of the best teams in the country. Quick turn, so we've got to be really, really focused tomorrow, really with one-day prep.
Great, thanks. Congratulations.
Thanks, Coach.
Bye, bud.